What's up, guys? Sound Alchemist here, welcoming you back to part 2 on the lore of the Primarch Mortarion. Without further ado, let's continue. Late in the Horus Heresy, Mortarion's knowledge of his psychic abilities had grown thanks to many experiments on Xenos and Chaos artifacts. He still wished to remain pure, and never did any experimentation upon his own body. Mortarion was tasked to find and destroy the White Scars by Horus. Together with some of the Emperor's children, they cornered and boarded the White Scars' fleet. As they made their way through the ship, they discovered that they were mostly empty, except for a few suicidal White Scars. The majority of them had teleported away while the ships were set to overload and self-destruct. Mortarion barely teleported away before the ships exploded. Once again, the White Scars managed to beat the Death Guard. Mortarion rejoined his primary fleet, which was being commanded by Typhon, and made way to join the siege of Terra. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the Death Guard never made it to Terra. Their ships were engulfed in an impenetrable warp storm. The navigators could not escape, and they had no choice but to drift until they were spat out. The powers of chaos had their own plans, and Nurgle took advantage of this dilemma for the Death Guard. The Destroyer Plague was unleashed. The bodies of the Death Guard became bloated and disease-ridden. None suffered more than Mortarion, though, and he finally could not take it anymore. He gave himself and his legion to Nurgle. What emerged from the warp storms were known as the Plague Marines. These weapons were now powered by the warp, but Mortarion still referred to his legion as his Death Guard. Mortarion was declared Nurgle's greatest mortal champion and was nicknamed the Prince of Decay. After Horus's defeat on Terra, Mortarion led his legion into the Eye of Terror. Here he claimed the demon world of the Plague Planet for his own, and he shaped it to his will. The Plague Planet was an ideal base for launching operations into the material realm, and it was well defended thanks to the poisonous gases surrounding it. Nurgle was so proud of his Prince of Decay, so much so that he ascended Mortarion into demonhood. Mortarion, the great demon prince, had finally gotten all that he wanted: eternal life, a planet of his own, and for better or worse, the Death Lord was now home. In the 41st millennium, Mortarion once again invaded the material realm. In the Battle of Cornovan, the Lord of Death lived up to his name, and he killed the Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights, Jero Nishan. Kaldor Drago was now the new Grand Master, and single-handedly smashed his way through the hordes of Plague Marines and Mortarion's bodyguard. Finally, he came upon the Demon Prince, and the two did battle. Drago pinned Mortarion to the ground and carved Geraltin's name into the Demon Prince's heart. Beaten, Mortarion escaped back into the warp, but not before vowing vengeance on Drago. It would be many years before the Prince of Decay would be able to enter the world of the material realm. He would never forget the man who humiliated the Lord of Death. Imperial records describe Mortarion as a tall and ashen man. He was thin but sturdy. He needed to breathe the toxins of his homeworld, and therefore had a collar that emitted wisps of the semi-poisonous gas of his homeworld. The Barbarian Plate was his personalized suit of power armor that incorporated a breathing apparatus so that a constant stream of barbarian gases was always at his disposal. He tended to wear a gray cloak over his armor, which further made him look like the Grim Reaper. Mortarion was always accompanied by at least two of his Deathshroud Terminator bodyguards. They were always at least 49 paces from him, and they wielded the same power scythe as he into battle. They were Marines, which were listed as killed in action, and therefore they wore a mask to conceal their identities. Only Mortarion knows of their true existence. Silence was the name of his massive two-handed battle scythe. Its blade was as big as a human, and some say that its origins are of some Xenos world, while others say that it was Mortarion's father's weapon while on Barbarous. Either way, it is a devastating weapon that reaps life with every swing. Mortarion's personal sidearm was named Lantern. This drum-barreled energy blaster is of unknown origin, and it too has taken countless lives. Mortarion also wore a string of spheres which contained poisonous gases from his homeworld. These Phosphex bombs ignite upon contact with metal and also eat into living tissue. The eerie white-green flames that are nearly inextinguishable have long-lasting effects on the planet they are used on. And that concludes the lore on the Primarch Mortarion. Let me know what you guys want to hear from next time on the lore of the Warhammer universe. Don't forget to comment down below, like, and subscribe for more epic 40K content. As always, I have been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, signing out.